Hello and welcome to this podcast covering the communication context. Subtitled here, Understanding Your Audience, because that's really what a communication context is about. The communication context is a roadmap to your writing. It allows you the opportunity to kind of plot out all the twists and turns that you're going to go through. And it helps you get to know not necessarily the subject you're writing about, but the people that will be reading your writing, the audience, the managers, etc. Every writing project, whether it's in this class or not, should have a communication context. It's just a natural part of writing. At the start of the research, you'll put together a communication context. You can, in fact, using your communication context as you do research can help you stay away from being too general. It can keep you away from sources that are too general to be useful to you down the road. The communication context is going to answer a lot of questions about who your audience is and your direction. And it's a very important step in this process. Let's go over some of the details of the communication context. First and foremost, you need to talk about the intended readers. Who are you writing the document to? Your reader should be a decision maker. Be sure you consider all the readers. Who else may this document get passed around to? Who else does it impact? Depending on who will be reading it, you will approach your communication differently. On the worksheet, however, focus on the reader you're sending the document to. You can make some consideration for secondary readers, but for the purposes of this class, focus on that primary reader. That's the person you want to direct your writing toward. You can make some assumptions about your readers, and what are those assumptions? Is your reader receptive or hostile? That's an assumption you can make. You should know that if it's a company being bought out and you're writing something on efficiency and job descriptions or whatever, it's probably going to be a hostile environment. If it's a company or a research lab or whatever that's got plenty of money and research coming in and everybody's busy and happy, it's going to be a receptive audience. Is your reader going to be informed about the topic? Is this something they're going to know something about? That affects, of course, how you approach the writing of the piece. When the reader goes through it, do they need additional information to help bring them up to speed, or would adding that additional information just prove a waste for them because they already know what you're talking about, so that you can move directly into the meat of what you are dealing with? Does the reader have the money to follow through if you're proposing something? Not real important at this point, but again, down the road in Module 4, you deal with a proposal. And in a proposal, there's always money involved. I don't care what it is. There's always money involved. So it's important to keep in mind if your reader is someone that can actually follow through on what you have presented to them, and are they the person that would be making the final decision? And this list, of course, can go on, and it will depend greatly on your particular scenario. So it's important for you to be thorough in your analysis of your audience. You want to talk about the topic as well. What are you writing about? What prompted you to write about it? Define the topic. It's the basis of your document, and the more defined, the more tied down it is, the easier it's going to be to write the final document. How much information will it be necessary to collect or select? Are you going to use colleagues as information or interview sources? Are you going to need company records? Are you going to need other people's research, vendor figures? Are you going to need trade journals? Are you going to need professional journals? Describe in the communication context all the different ports where information is going to be coming from. The intended purpose of the document. Well, this one it seems quite kind of obvious, but you need to define carefully what you want to happen. Again, your purpose will impact how you construct your document and what points there are to cover. So discuss the intended purpose. How will the reader use the information? How might your reader affect your design decisions? Review the textbook. I think especially chapters 3 and 4. It can tell you a lot about the visual presentation and the standard kind of ways that readers use information, or use documentation. It will affect the way you create your document. You want to discuss the organizational climate or environment. Describe the reader's organizational environment or climate. Is it supportive, conservative? Is there an emergency situation? The company's going under, or is it? Do you have the luxury of plenty of sales and or lots of grant money coming in? Is it an energetic group company? Is the company open and receptive to new ideas, or very closed and tense about it? Are they competitive? Are they under siege? Is it a new company or an established company? The list here, like the other lists, can go on and on. Essentially, what are the elements you are dealing with that might impact the decisions made based upon who's reading your document? Some other aspects to consider on the communication context is that once you have fully fleshed out the above questions, which is you've fully fleshed out the audience, what other thoughts do you have on the context? Now, with the communication context, it comes first. It's one of the first things you write before you write your other documents. You're going to submit it using the assignment link, and you'll want to complete the communication context before or while you're doing research. It's going to help guide you in the selection of your sources. Now, as always, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me, and we will work them out. Thank you.